Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by PILMA. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison. Welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today is going to be a solo cast. And I'm going to talk about referral systems. We were at a Q&A at PILMA a couple of weeks ago, and somebody was talking about referrals for lawyers, from other lawyers. And he said, well, I just sent out a letter to everybody. He said, I didn't get any response. And I said, well, absolutely you didn't. Because you got to understand, you got to have a referral mindset, and you got to put yourself in their shoes. I'm not going to refer a case unless I know you, I like you, and I trust you. All right. So one of the big deals when I'm trying to find lawyers to refer mass tort cases to, that I want somebody I trust. I know is going to pay me the fee, my referral fee, and I want them to be somebody I know and like, that they're going to do a good job. I trust, do a good job. And so the same goes with you trying to get lawyer referrals from other lawyers. And then there's this other thing called reciprocity. There's a guy named Cialdini who wrote this whole big book about it. And the deal is, when you try to help others get what they want, then you can get what you want. All right. So these are two important things to think about on the base, like on the foundation of any kind of referral system. So I'm going to talk about lawyers, I'm going to talk about doctors, I'm going to talk about clients, past clients, and influencers. So let's talk about lawyers. So there's a lot of money to be made by getting referrals. There's a lot of money to be made by giving out referrals. So let's start with this mindset. Try to find something that you got in common with that person, and set up a meeting. There's a book called Never Eat Alone. You got to eat lunch, you got to eat breakfast. You can invite them out. You can sit down and talk to them and see what you can do to help them first, and find out, see what kind of interest you got in, I even like to find out from their secretary or receptionist, what's his big sport teams, what kind of alcohol, if he drinks alcohol, is he a vegan or her? Well, I didn't know these things. And I used to try to keep Rolodexes on all of these. Of course, now you would do, put it in your iPhone, but used to, because what I would do is, if I saw some tickets to a game and I knew he liked this team, and I would send them to the lawyers. I would, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, you almost got to figure out, if you got like a domestic lawyer or a criminal lawyer, and they don't do PI, this is the kind of lawyers you want to go talk to. I think getting referrals from other PI lawyers, you've got to really be like, have a reputation for getting big verdicts or big settlements, and you've got to speak at events like your local bar or your state trial lawyers association. That's how you get referrals from other lawyers based on that do your practice area. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is just lawyers who don't do your niche. It could be workers' comp attorneys, it could be SSD lawyers, it could be, because there's a lot of good third-party claims in workers' comp. But you got to figure out, did you go to the same law school? Did you go to the same undergraduate school? Do you have the same hobbies? I mean, do they play golf? Invite them out to go play golf one day. If they play tennis, if you play tennis, do that. Pickleball, whatever it might be. What you're trying to do is build a relationship with this person so that they know you, they like you, they trust you. because we know that people hire lawyers and people refer to lawyers that they know, like, and trust. It's no different for lawyers referring you than it is from past clients or anybody else in the world. So you have to work on this. This is something that you can't just send out letters or just do a phone call. You know, I mean, I would ignore that, wouldn't you? I mean, really. So you gotta figure out a way to do these type of things. Now, I did have one young lawyer up in Richmond, Virginia. I thought this was a great idea. He found a list of all the areas that all the lawyers in the Richmond area that did not do PI work, and then he ran a thing. I guess it's on LinkedIn or whatever, and found out found out where they went to law school and undergraduate. If they went to either one that he went to, he'd invite them, like on every third Thursday, he would invite them over to a local bar restaurant. And he would have a mixer, but he would pay for the hors d'oeuvres, but he wouldn't pay for the liquor because of liability and just cost a lot more. And he would have a secretary go with him. They'd make name badges. And he called it, like, if it was me, call it the Hardison network mixer or whatever, or networking, They would do it like from 5 to 7:30, 8 o'clock. And since he was the one that put it all together, he had his deal there, he got a lot of referrals out of this. And they all had something in common. They all went to either the same law school or the same undergraduate that he did. And it wasn't a big crowd. He said it must have anywhere from 10 to 30 lawyers. And he would remind them he would send them a little invitation, email, whatever, and have a secretary call to make sure they remembered it. I thought that was a good way to do it, because then you get to know them, like them, trust them. So that's the things that you really got to do if you want to get these referrals. You can't just send out letters. And you just can't call on the phone and ask for them. You got to build a relationship. And if you don't have time to do it, then you need to find somebody in your law firm that does. I know we got a member in the mastermind, one of his partners, he has cases, but part of his job is to go out and network. He gets an expense account, credit card, and he can take doctors and lawyers out to dinner, to ball games, sport events, fishing, whatever, play golf, whatever. And then also think about this. When you talk about doctors, let's talk about doctors for a while. Doctors are a little bit different. When you try to get to meet with them, some doctors just hate lawyers anyway, so just mark those off. But do kind of the same thing as you did with lawyers. But if those people are so busy, sometimes the doctors are so busy, they just don't have a life, social life. What you really want to do is get in good with the people, the staff, the office manager, the receptionist there, because they're going to be more likely to refer people out. And if you've got a book, what you want to do is work your way in there, give them donuts, cater them lunch, do a little private CLE or something for them on liens or whatever in your state, or make sure they get paid on MedPay or PIP or whatever, and help them out, feed them while you do it, and then occasionally somebody brings by donuts. And then what you want to do is get a book in there. I used and put it in the reception area. And then when people are in there waiting to see the doctor because they've been in an accident, chiropractors is just great. But it could be pain clinics. It could be massage therapy, therapists, if it's a mental deal. So it could be a lot of different things, but then keep those books in there. And then that makes it easy for the receptionist and that staff person to refer them people. And if they do forget it, you've got your book in there anyway. And so you're going to get, what we found is every 25 books that we put in the office, we got a case. So that should be your plan of attack on doctors. Now, past clients, that's the biggie for me. I wrote a book, Under Promise Over Deliver, and in it I talk about there's 3 phases of marketing: before representation, during representation, and after representation. And everybody does before, and probably 70% do, try to give great client service during, but most people forget about the afterwards. They just think people are going to remember. And like I said, you got to first, why do you want to spend all that money on the upfront stuff? People don't know you and like you and trust you to get them to where they will, when you can get referrals from other people that do know you, like you, and trust you. And there's so many ways, but the key is you got to think about, we're talking about foundational deal. You want to try to put a fence around these people so that, and so that they don't go to somebody else. And what I mean by that is not a physical fence, but like an imaginary fence. So you do this by staying top of mind awareness. And this means sending them a birthday card. This means I used to send a birthday card, a Valentine's Day card, a July 4th card, and a Thanksgiving card. Plus I did 6 newsletters. So you look at it, what, about 10 touches a year, 10 or 11 touches a year, with actual physical mail. And if I was doing it today with all the emails, I'd be sending out an email blast every month. Just let them know about something that's going on in town, or offering free notary services, or offering a free living will, and just staying in front of them. Those are the type of things you want to do, because if you do this and stay with it, you won't see it immediately, but within like 12 months, you'll see a big spike in your referrals. If you want a quick spike, then you do an advisory board. And if you're a PILMA member, you know what I'm talking about. Those really do work. I don't have time today to go through the whole deal. And plus, I really kind of keep that for PILMA members. But I mean, really, those cases are usually the best cases. And, here's the deal about past clients. 20% of them will never refer you anybody, no matter if you got them $10 zillion, and 20% of them will probably refer you people, whether you ask them to or not, because they love you so much. But there's like 60% that would if they knew that you wanted it, and you kind of showed them how to do it. And so here's one of my little tricks. I'm big on books. So I take one of my consumer books and I give about 2 of them when we sign up the case, and say, listen, if you see anybody that needs our services, give them this book and say, this is a lawyer I'm using. Give them 2 more at the end of it. Give them 2 them at the advisory staff board meetings, because this makes it easy for them to break the ice. And when they give the book to that person, 2 things happen. Number one, it breaks the ice. It makes it easy for them. But the second thing, the most important thing, is it gives you credibility, because number one, they referred them to you. And then number 2 is that you wrote a book, so you must know what you're doing. So it's instant credibility. They say, oh, well, your lawyer wrote a book on it, so he must really know what he's doing. Yeah, he's great, or she's great. Those are the things that can really, I think, explode your marketing. And then always remember, write personal thank you notes to people who do refer you, because if you don't, they're going to think you don't give a crap, and they'll quit sending them to you. And this is lawyers and stuff like that too. You can't send them. Well, there is another system of gifting people based on, but you can't give them pro quid quo. You know what I'm saying? But when we used to rank our referrers A, B's, and C's, and the A's got a gift, every quarter, and it was something really nice. And the B's got something 3 months a year, and then the C's got something 2 months. And it depended on how many referrals you gave us in the last 12 months. We didn't tell them that. We just sent out and just thank them for being faithful and loyal past clients, and for all the referrals. Big deal, really made a difference. And if you don't have time to do the personal handwritten notes, get somebody in your office to do it. Get your paralegal, your secretary, your office manager, whoever, to write them for you. And because most people ain't gonna know your handwriting. And then you can sign them if you want to. If you don't even have to sign them, let them sign them. But it just makes that little bit of difference, I'm telling you. So 42% of our cases came from referrals when I had Hardison and Cocker, Hardison Associates. And we still spent $1.5 to $2 million a year on advertising. That's TV, internet, different things, festivals, billboards, whatever, radio. But we still got, and so you say, well, 42% is not enough. If you won't do any marketing or doing very little marketing, it probably would be. But doing that much marketing, that's big. What I found out across the nation is guys that are doing a lot of marketing, usually 20 to 24% is 25% is like their usual referral from past clients. Is what the percentage of cases they get. So 40% was big, and I think the big deal in those cases costs very little, if any, money. And I really feel back to giving them a great client service while they were with us and staying on top of their mind. Like I put a fence around them, and I say it in their face, in a nice way, and showed them how to give me referrals and made it easy for them. So if you just do some of these things, the stuff that costs that much, and it can make a big difference. So I hope this has helped. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success. Y'all take care.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.